Alright, welcome back for another video. In this one we're taking the basic HTML layout from the last video and we're going to add some Google fonts and make it look a little bit nicer than this terrible looking default document. So let's get straight into it. I googled Google fonts before, you can see it here. We'll add the font straight away pretty much into this and just talk about Google fonts and how to apply them, and then we'll get rid of this Times New Roman. Actually, I've just added style under this one. I'm using CodePen to edit this, and also I will add a link to this if you wanted to get a copy yourself. We'll just go to Google Fonts. You can just Google Google Fonts and it usually comes up. And you can see, you can just go straight into it and browse the fonts. And pretty much just pick a nice font that looks a little bit nicer than Times New Roman. You can do fancy fonts for headings and that kind of thing. So we might actually pick two fonts, one for the heading and one for the body text, and then show you how to apply them to your document. I think everyone's using roboto at the moment, and this one kind of looks cool as well, Dotto. But we want kind of a nice, maybe that would be a cool heading. Sour Gummy for the heading. Looks a little bit like Comic Sans, if anyone remembers that font. That was quite terrible. So anyway, we click the font that we choose from fonts.google.com, and then we go get font. And then once we've selected the font, we want to get the embed code. We don't actually want to download the font, even though you can also download it if you want to install it on your local computer. And then you'll see here on the right that we've got link or import. So the link one, we can place that in the head of our HTML, and the import, we can actually add that within the CSS. So it just depends whether you want to add it to your head document or your CSS, but I think CSS is a little bit neater because it's just one line, whereas the link has about 10 things that it's loading. So usually I like to add the import to this. So yes, we're back to so we copy this at import. Don't need the style tags because we've already got that in our CSS here. It automatically applies them. And then we just paste in at import and the URL. And then if we go back to our selection, it will actually also show you a CSS for that as well. I don't even know what Sour Gummy Unifier is. What's the Unifier? I'm not sure. But what we really want to get from this is the font family. And then we actually want to just apply this to our H1 and H2 tags so far. So we're going to go in our CSS, H1, and then curly brackets, and then paste what we got from the Google fonts. And you can see already that our main H tag has been changed. And then we want to also add H2s in here. So we can do a comma and then H2, and then it will apply Sour Gummy font. And then if it can't load this font, it will load the sans serif font. So if we removed this part, it will actually default back to sans serif rather than Times New Roman. It's always nice to put in the sans serif as your backup font, because otherwise it will load the default, which is usually Times New Roman, which doesn't really look the best. Well, I mean, it probably does, but I don't really like that font very much. And then also we can actually, it probably has some recommended line heights for this as well. It doesn't. Font optical sizing auto. I've never seen that particular tag before. That must be relatively new. It doesn't seem to make any difference. You can also add the line height here, and we can go 1.2, which will be M's. Doesn't seem to make any difference either. But yes, that is how we add our H1 and H2. These automatically have margins and paddings added usually. Right, and then we'll do the same thing again, but just for open sans, so that we can change, let me move this up a bit, put this here. So then we can change this into like just a nice sans, or if we didn't want to use Google font, we could just go sans serif and it looks okay. For the serif fonts, I think roboto, it's kind of boring, isn't it? But it looks nice. So we'll just get that, copy it really quickly, get font, get embed code, import, copy this again, back to here. So we're actually going to be loading two fonts for this. This is actually loading every single weight and style, so maybe it's not very efficient as we are only loading one. This loads weight all the way from 100 to 900 and italic and everything. So yeah, it's a little bit much just for loading one, but it does work. Why did that particular one break? P and then P. It's because it's pasted the style tags in. If you paste a style tag in, that will break the whole thing, especially if you paste it within a CSS. And then we go font family, and we can actually go back and copy that again from here. It's got a whole bunch of different ones if you want to add them separate classes for each font. But this one we can just go font family and font style normal. So now we go P, font family roboto, and then serif is the backup for this. This one we have sans serif for the headers as a backup, and this one we just have regular serif. So now we've got hello world, and now I think we actually want to style this very similar to this so that we have a darker background and brighter text so it doesn't hurt our eyes as much, or my eyes, or everyone's eyes. And to style the document, we have HTML, so we can actually style either the HTML or we can style the body tag. So either way, you can do both of them at the same time, or you can just do the body. Usually you can just go body. We want to set the background this, so we go body and then curly brackets and then background. And then we kind of pick a hex color. I think 444 is pretty close maybe to this, or maybe not. Let's just load up DevTools real quick, and I'll just grab the color of this because I kind of like that color. Close that again. We will go into DevTools another time. All right, so now this is the same as this color, and obviously we can't read the text because it's all black, which is default color. And then we want to set our color of the body, which should do every element that hasn't been specifically styled, as probably almost white, so maybe EEE. And then we have, if you do FFF, it's a little bit bright sometimes. So EE is slightly off white. And yes, that is how we do basic HTML layout style, adding Google fonts and just a little bit of color changing with the background. And I think that's probably enough for this basic video. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.